Hello, everybody. Hold on, let me mute my other tab. I don't have any headphones issues. Oh, Lord. A tab is playing. There we go. Can you tell Crafton's not down here with me? Sorry about that. Thought I had it. How's everybody's weekend been? This will be kind of a short one, but there is new movement in the Scott Peterson case. So I definitely wanted to make sure to come on. We're also, college is at its end. So we are moving the boy back home for the summer. So we didn't get to do yesterday. So I wanted to catch it up today. And so I'm going to go through and read a statement from the family. And then we're going to review the news article that came out about the new appeal that's been filed. And what's interesting to me about it actually is that it's a pro se appeal, which means he's representing himself, which you don't see every day. Let me get this up and we'll start by reading this out. Hello, Jen. How are you? Robert's May Queen, X-Man Words. Auntie, I know, has a live, so I think she stopped in to say hi. And like I said, this one won't be long. Let me share my screen. See if I can do that without blowing out everybody's earbuds. Oh, you moved it. Okay, she moved it in an hour. So you guys, when we're done here, head on over to there. And I'll make sure to reroute it so that you can head on that way. Get over here. Oh, let me change my banner. Let's see. I really need Crafton when I do these. I don't know how I don't know how he does this by himself. I think he's just too cool for me. Hey, Boots, how are you? Sailboat, hello. Oops, that was the wrong tab too. Let's see what the family has to say. So the family issued a statement. Head on over to Facebook. So this is the last one, and then I'll read you the one from the Instagram. Later this month will be 20 years since Scott's arrest, 20 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Injustice is a heavy burden and one that we bear every day, but that doesn't mean that we don't make an effort to have a good time together as a family, even in the midst of incredible adversity. It's rare for us to share something lighthearted, but we wanted to give you a glimpse into one of those moments with this photo we took during a video visit last year. So, it goes on to just kind of give some information about what it was, but it was a family visit, and they released this publicly. So this is within the Scott Peterson appeal Facebook group. So this, I knew this had, I'd seen this before, but they did release it on the public level. The reason is because they filed what is an 800-page appeal. Now, again, he's pro se, but his sister, Janie, who's the one up here in the corner on the same line he is, she's in her final year of law school. And while in law school, very early on in law school, she was given a place at the California Innocence Project. So there's no question he had help with this. Yes, he does, Boots Mama. So in the picture up there, up next to him with the brown hair, that's Janie. So that's the one that's in law school. Down below in the middle is his father. And that's his sister and brother-in-law on the bottom. So he does have siblings. He has other siblings as well. He has half siblings, things like that. So the basis of the new appeal. So you guys know that he lost the last appeal that was based entirely or the one that was successful and made it the farthest, was the one based on juror misconduct. So there was a little bit of thought when that ruling came in that it was possible, or at least Cliff Gardner, his attorney, had said that they were looking into routes to appeal the judge's decision. I did a read through on that. I will probably do another one, and it'll just be a long video going on to the new channel where it's just going to be talking about legal cases and no drama. I'm going to keep the drama over here. I'm actually currently, like, I accidentally signed out of all my accounts, and so I'm like, I need Craft and do log back in. And so I plan to launch it today, and I still will, but I have to. I'm still deciding on a name too, you guys. I don't know. So he named the other channel Kim and Crafton as opposed to Crafton and Kim. I don't think I'm going to keep that. I'm still deciding what to name it. I don't know if I want to just stick with Red Kim, or if, and then keep this Life in the Red Kim, so it's kind of distinct, or if I want to just go with a totally different name. I was looking, I don't even want to say what the other one I'm considering is, because some asshole just, they'll take the name. But then there's another one that's kind of like not really, not attached to my name, but instead is more indicative of the content on the channel. And I can't decide. I don't know. I'm like, maybe I'll name it the other one and then do a poll or something over here. I'm not sure. Hey, Without Borders. So yeah. So I thought it was a little interesting because do we have a monsoon again today? And somehow we're still getting these poor drowned rat looking squirrels coming over. I feel so bad. I'm like giving them extra treats today because I'm like, this looks difficult for a squirrel. Squirrel life is hard. But I think they had to address the release of the picture the way it is, because I just want to remind everybody that one of the most controversial and sort of imprinted images, around the case was the candlelight vigil where he's, kind of smiley and stuff. So, I mean, it's been decades, right? But there's no question. I've seen some hooting and hollering around the internet about this. It's pretty well known that if you're in the pen, if there's trees and stuff around you, chances are it is a green screen, right? So it is. So there was some hootenannies about that. But it is risky to release that picture. Okay. Now they're choosing the chosen news outlet was Fox. So that's where we're going to be going. There's been a lot of, stories based on their story. But in the end, it's definitely Janie and her statement when he lost the last appeal that looks like the route they're going. So it does not look like they're appealing Judge Missoula's ruling on the juror misconduct case, instead opting for just a totally brand new appeal. So they're starting over. Let me pull this up, do a little read through of it. It's 800 pages. When that comes out, it will for sure be in sections, but I'll be doing a read through on that too. There's a lot of people that are interested in what these documents say and just really don't want to read them. And I don't blame you. So I will take one for the team again. And even though I don't have Audible isn't going to be calling me soon to, to be a narrator, it makes it where they don't have to. So Boots, I openly talk about my feelings on the case, right? I know that it's a divisive subject, but keeping in mind that I look at it from a law perspective, I think he deserves a new trial. And that, he might be guilty. He might not be, but just from a purely legal standpoint, there were some issues in his case, and actually, they'll be addressed in the article, but they are the same ones that I had. There was shockingly little evidence. There were some things, they're circumstantial for sure, and there's nothing wrong with circumstantial cases. There's nothing wrong with it at all. But as you'll hear in the article, it's something that's been well known. I have very heavy criticisms of Mark Garagos. And in the end, I think that, this is why, lawyers, choice of lawyers, if you're ever accused of anything, is a huge big deal. For whatever reason, he chose not to bring in witnesses that had seen Lacey walking her dog that day. There was some activity on Scott's work computer at his office, if you will, that sort of overlap in that time frame. So truly, it's like, that raises doubts. There's some evidence that's challenged, but we'll see what happens, because some of the issues that are brought up and are hinted at being in this new 800-page appeal are ones that were in the original appeal, and if you remember, those were tossed out. Those were already looked at and put to the side. Without seeing the document, I can't opine anything on what I think is going to happen with this one. But let's take a look and you can see what you think. Let's go to Fox News, shall we? It's really funny too, because so it's like he files a new appeal, it's pro se, and that picture is still what got the top billing in the headline. So anyway, so the photo is the first big thing. Now, truly, this is the first time it's been released to the public, with the exception of the closed groups that the family runs. So Scott Peterson's filed a new appeal in his 2004 California murder conviction, as Fox News has obtained a previously unseen family photo of the 50-year-old sharing a lighthearted moment on a prison conference call. Peterson received a death sentence nearly 20 years ago after a California jury found him guilty of killing his wife and their unborn son, then dumping them in the San Francisco Bay on Christmas Eve of 2002. They washed up separately months later. So, reminder as well, the first appeal wasn't entirely unsuccessful. It did overturn, for judge misconduct, it did overturn his death sentence. So he's no longer at San Quentin. He's permanently moved, life in prison. But his family has maintained his innocence the entire time, and a judge late last year removed him from death row amid allegations of juror bias, which that's a misleading sentence, by the way. The juror bias issue had nothing to do with the death sentence being overturned. So he was removed from death row because they overturned the death penalty. It could not be held up. While he was resentenced to life without parole in December, the judge declined to grant him a new trial. If you're interested at all in that process, document, anything like that, there are several audio videos here where I read through that decision. So that covers everything from the law that applied, the circumstances, the arguments, and her ultimate ruling. It's a 3-part video that's here on this channel. All those videos too will be uploaded over onto the other channel. The photo exclusively obtained by Fox News can be seen in a new Fox Nation special, blah, 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 blah. So there's that photo that we already looked at. Photo originated in May 22nd, 2002, WebEx call sharing a moment with family members while he was still in San Quentin. A virtual background shows a window with trees and a couch with pillows, but he was sitting in a cell wearing his gray t-shirt and prison uniform, according to his sister-in-law, J.D. Peterson. So Boots, if you're interested. So the bottom row there, I couldn't think of her name. That's his sister. All his siblings are half, by the way. He's the only child of his biological mother and father. But his father had children from a previous marriage, and his mother had other children as well. So it's his sister. That's Susan. 2 sisters that at least are active in this, Scott Peterson is pictured top right. And then so Joe Peterson, Janie Peterson, Susan, her husband Ed, Lee Peterson, his dad. His mom died, just so those that didn't know. She died it's been over a decade now. The family tries to schedule a call once a week, but due to prison limitations, they are only granted once or twice a month, they said. And there's a picture of Lacey. Okay, so this is finally when we get to it. So this is, I just wanted to point this out, and I made a decision to read this article as it's written, because you will see the picture got the top billing. So now we'll actually talk about the case. On April 19th, he filed a petition for writ of habeas corpus, so he's starting a whole new habeas appeal in a California appellate court, seeking his release and arguing that the family has uncovered evidence that can prove his innocence. The 800-page filing has not been made public yet. However, a source tells Fox News Digital it will lay out 6 claims in connection with his case. I'll put this, I'll put the link to this too in the description, you guys. So if you want to come back and read it, they do have some pictorials, and they have a timeline. There's different things in here if you want to just kind of refresh yourself on it. Peterson's expected to renew his claim of juror misconduct. So rather than appealing the judge's decision, which is what his appellate attorney had indicated the route he wanted to take, they've actually just reasserted it here. And I don't know how successful that's going to be, but anyway, it's part of it as well. Review, so it reveals newly unearthed evidence in connection with a burglary right across the street and a possible connection to Lacey's disappearance. Introduces separate claims that prosecutors presented false evidence on 2 key issues and suppressed further evidence on one of them, and finally argue that in some, the other claims merit relief. So I can tell you that the new thing in here, okay, well, there's 2 new things because I've heard what some of this new evidence is. The new evidence is that they have eyewitnesses. They have eyewitnesses now. They have a declaration from some experts that testified. And because the other new one is this allegation of the prosecutors presenting false evidence. Okay, that's a big claim. So that's a new claim. If they can prove that, that's a big deal. Okay, what I think that's going to come down to, and again, this is just me speculating and having followed the case for this long and so in depth, what I believe that is going to be about are there's 2 things. Okay, less likely, but could be, is the dog expert that testified. Okay, that was referenced in his first habeas because that dog had very, very low scores on all their testing, and it wasn't based on. It was based on sniff items that were cross-contaminated, things like that. But in addition, the main thing is that the claim was that it could smell, while it couldn't pick up any smell of decomp in his truck, in his house, anything like that. Like, none of that is what we're talking about. They had it smell an item of Lacey's. And the claim is that even though she was in the back of his truck, it was able to smell it through the air. Okay, which is really not very scientific. So maybe they're going to rehash that. I don't know. My guess, though, is not. I think that this new prosecutorial misconduct is going to be based on the gestational expert who was given wrong information on Lacey's doctor's visits. And of course, getting an accurate age on Connor was a huge part of the case. That timeline changes, right? So that's my guess. We'll see if I'm right when this document finally goes public. As you can imagine, when you file an 800-page document, it takes a little while to process, but no question, as soon as it comes out, I'll get a copy and I'll just start doing a read through. Like I said, 800 pages, it's definitely going to come in probably 6 parts. I think that's the best that I'll be able to do without going nuts sitting here reading behind a computer. So let's see see. Peterson was transferred in the fall from San Quentin to the Mule Creek State Prison following his removal from death row. So that's Cliff Gardner. That's the attorney I was talking about. That was his appellate attorney. By the time Janie Peterson told Fox News Digital that the family has evidence she believes can prove his innocence, and then they quote her saying, "We can show that Scott is innocent and he's wrongfully convicted of the murder of Lacey and Connor," she said. While the judge in December declined to order a new trial, some of that evidence is expected to be made public after Peterson's habeas corpus filing. So that is kind of cool. So things that were referenced in that first habeas are now going to be eligible because of the new filing to be released. So that'll be great because we can actually take a look at that too. So that's another thing to look forward to, is there's going to be documents and things like that that were only referenced in various rulings and kind of, cited in the documents that are now going to be available for us to take a look at. So that'll be cool. He had filed 2 prior petitions, one in 2012 and one in 2015, but neither succeeded. They didn't succeed in the ultimate goal, which was a new trial. So I don't know if I agree with that sentence all the way, but he's off death row. Okay. That's something. The new filing was expected, according to his sister-in-law, who told Fox News, Laura Ingle, earlier this year, that she expected to see it by the April 19th deadline. He's actually, for the most part, now lawyerless. So he will be filing this petition pro se, representing himself. I think that's intriguing. Court records show that's what he did, but she added that he hopes to be assigned counsel to address the new claims. Peterson lost access to his previous lawyers at the end of the December proceedings, she said. So chances are they will assign it to him. I have no reason to think that they won't. There was a lot of hubbub in the last one about him keeping Cliff Gardner. Of course, there's benefits to keeping the attorneys that have worked with you the whole time. Pat Harris, who was part of the original team and was part of the prior 2 appeals, is another option. I don't know if for something like this, they're going to allow him more than one, but he probably won't stay pro se for long. But again, my guess is that he had plenty of help on the file, especially an 800-page filing. There's a copy of December's. There she is. Those involved allegations surrounding misconduct from Rochelle Neese, who served as juror number 7 in the original trial. In her jury questionnaire, Neese denied having been the victim of a crime or having been involved in a prior lawsuit, according to the previous defense team. And if that was the basis, by the way, that she lied on her jury questionnaire on material issues like domestic violence, never having been part of any criminal case, never having been a witness to anything criminal. It's an interesting thing. Again, if you're interested, there's an audio read through on this channel. But Peterson's previous lawyers alleged she hid the fact that she had been beaten while pregnant by a boyfriend in 2001, and that on another, keeping in mind his trial was 2 years after that. Okay. There were other incidents too. I won't go back to that too much, and that on another occasion, pregnant with a different child, she obtained a restraining order against an ex-boyfriend. Against a boyfriend's ex. I was just about to correct that. Okay. So no, boyfriend's ex. He was a 2-timer. Okay. So he had baby mama and then he had all his girlfriends. So the girlfriend was stalking them, is what it turned out to be. That actually was closer to when she went for jury duty. So it was a pretty egregious case. It was one that was, the decision sort of vacated everything that went up to it. And we talked a lot about that. They argue that Neese's status as a domestic violence survivor biased her in the case, and that she purposely tried to get onto the jury. They claim that she denied for years. A claim that she denied for years before the failed appeal in 2022. That's true. She did not admit to it at all. In fact, she didn't admit to it until she lied about it several times up until she pled the 5th. And it took the state and the defense agreeing to an immunity deal before she came clean about what happened. So Judge Mazzullo in December ruled that the juror had acted out of emotion rather than bias, and that she made honest mistakes. That's in quotes. Niece's conduct was not prejudicial, Judge Mazzullo found. So that's that. So I kind of highlighted the little parts that I thought were kind of relevant or new. So new evidence. She definitely did lie. Sorry, I'm just back. I'm looking now. She definitely did lie. She lied. But in the end, the end of that decision was just infuriating. Like I said, I think I'm going to re-record that as well for the new channel and try to do it with less infliction in my voice, less sound of surprise at some of the things that were said. Because it is interesting, and I want as many people to be able to listen to it, including those that think that was that it ended the right way. They still at least deserve to know the claims that are made just from a fair, balanced perspective. No problem. All right, X amount of words. Definitely so the juror misconduct thing being reasserted here, I don't know what they're going to say that's new there. I mean, when you already have a ruling filing on the habeas level it's going to a higher court, right? But the higher court last time remanded it to the lower court, and the lower court made their decision. So I don't know what kind of effect that's going to have. The prosecutorial misconduct, though, that is new, and that's big. But the system is meant. Oh, thank you, Auntie. Love you too. The system's meant to be upholding, decisions from a court, whether it's jury, whether it's judge. It's just sort of how it is. Appeals are made that way. And law changes that happened under Clinton solidified that. So it's hard. It's an uphill battle. We've seen, the juror misconduct issue, I think, was cut and dry. Okay. So it reminds you how much politics plays into it too, because in the end, it is a judge who makes that decision. Judges are appointed, judges are elected. There's still prosecutors that were present in the courtroom through all these appeals that were part of the original conviction. Even though it's been so long, this was a very emotional case. People have very, very strong feelings one way or the other about it. And the majority of people think he's guilty. You know what I mean? Lacey was a figure sort of in the media that we can relate to. I was pregnant when this happened, right? Like, Aiden was born in 2004. And if you think back, this happened in 2002. His trial took place in 2004. So I had a newborn by the time he was on trial, but the whole saga of all of it played out while I was pregnant. So there's no question. It's like, it brings up emotion, some dude cheating on his pregnant wife. That's gross, sadly, pregnant females, one of the highest risks for them is intimate partner abuse and homicide. And that's just a fact. You know what I mean? It's a sad reality. But there was a lot to her that made us identify with her. And so to me, it's just an interesting thing because it is still very highly emotionally charged. People feel very strongly, whichever way they feel. And elected officials, politicians who are appointing these judges, they know that. And so it's hard for me to not put that in here, because I made sure to say it through, the Rochelle Niece portion of the appeals. I said over and over, my position is that they more than proved that he needed a new trial. He deserved a new trial. As Americans, we're entitled to a full jury of non-biased jurors, and that is predicated on an honest voir dire, honest jury selection process. Someone lying on their, blatantly, not just one or two things, but consistently throughout their jury questionnaires. That's something that makes me nervous. Um, uh-oh. Izzy, hold on, guys. We got a hairball. Are you okay? Mama, all right? Over here. Sorry, I had to get my kitty. She got a hairball. You okay? Need some water? Sorry, I'll be right there, you guys. Sorry. You okay? Yeah. Go get some water. Go get some water. Okay. Sorry, you guys. So I'll just, as an opinion part, or as a little tidbit part, I'm most excited about to see what this jury, what they're not the jury, what the prosecutorial misconduct claim is going to be. So the deal with their gestational expert is that they had the age of Connor based on the entirely wrong bone. And so there's a scientific method that goes into it. I'm not a medical professional, so I'm not going to try to rehash what that is. I'm sure it'll be explained in the correct way in the document. But I know that it was the wrong bone. I also know that getting these witnesses to go on the record is a big deal. Oh my gosh, Robert's I just hear like the gagging, and I'm like, where is she? I don't know which one it is till I turn around. And now Ray's gonna check it out because that has to happen too. He's like, well, what happened over here? It always happens when I'm by myself, you guys. So there is that. Hey, Gladys. Let me give you guys the link to this if anybody wants to take a look. Like I said, they have a lot of historical stuff in there. If you're familiar with the case, then you know those. But it's interesting knowing that it's going to be coming up in the media and all that other stuff. Sometimes it's cool just to look back and refresh. It's definitely a case that I'll always talk about. There's certain ones I keep my eye on. Even with Robert Durst deceased at this point, I still constantly keep my eye on the progress of the civil suits and the things that are going on over his estate, from Susan Berman's family and Kathy Durst's family. There's just, we all have those cases that we take our special interest in and are close to us and we follow. So the Peterson case is definitely one of those for me. Hello, Outlander. Hello, Gladys. All right. That's what I got. Here's a link if anyone wants to talk about the case. Has any sort of questions? There's not an expected date on it yet either. I've looked, and so far, and I think that's probably because it's not anything other than the court. It's just a matter of how long. And then they go through and before they make it public, they do a lot of redaction. You can imagine that 800 pages is a big deal. But I want to see it. I feel like there's just a lot of rehashing. I don't know. There's not a lot. I'm like, what else could be new? So there could be something that I have no idea about, you guys. I'm simply basing it off of things that I do know from the family's website and their press releases and, the groups that I'm in and where they will talk about some things. And oh, you're so sweet. You guys are the best. Robert Durst is a piece of poop. Oh, God. Oh, it pisses me off. So just for those who don't know, right? So Robert Durst, who was the subject of the documentary The Jinx, is how a lot of people know of him, was found guilty for the death of Susan Berman, who was his friend, He was infamously let go for the death of Morris Black, whose head they never located, but he dismembered and threw out in the water in Galveston, and everything washed up except the head. And somehow his team of lawyers were successful in getting a jury to say it was self-defense. Don't know. Guy is a piece of work. His first wife went missing. Never ever been seen since. In the jinx, he admitted that he lied to police, all these other things. A lot of things pointed to him. Out there in the works is the Jinx 2, which is going to cover the trial. And I'm sure the reason it got delayed is because then, after being found guilty, and the best part about that trial is that it did such a great job of integrating all of the issues. It's something that made me nervous. Anyone who followed that case, and I covered it over on our main channel, kind of had that feeling too, that they were taking on, like, almost having to prove what he did to Kathy, what he did to Morris Black, like, as part of Susan Berman's case. But those prosecutors will always have, like, my mad prop. They did such an amazing, it was artful. It was art in action, if you're a dork like me and into these kind of things. So what is infuriating is California has a statute where if you are in an appeal and you die, you are innocent. Like, it overturns your conviction. After all that dude did in the record books, you know, as a matter of law, he is not guilty. Unreal. That is what I have to say about that. There's a Jinx 2, but because he passed away and because of the legal things that have happened, I'm really hoping that they're going to get some of these legal battles after the fact. He was ordered to pay restitution to Susan Berman's family. They were in the process of filing charges in New York. There's been ongoing litigation with Kathy's family. And so he passed away in the middle of all of that. It's crazy. Hi, honey. You came back. You're here. Did you get good sleep? You look rested. I got you food. Crafton doesn't talk when he first wakes up. You gotta give him a minute. There's the link if anyone wants to talk about it. I guess I'll put the Durst case on the table too. So just so you know, I'll be moving coverage off of Crafton and Kim. I'll be moving the legal discussions that are over here. I have the only one I'm not sure about is the Rust case. I'm still trying to get clarification on terms of service about showing firearms if they're in a photograph. So far, they have got back to me that if it's educational, which it kind of is, it's Hannah Gutierrez Reed. Every picture that you've ever seen of her, because she's an armorer, she's like holding her firearms. So I think that it's in context, but you know how it is right now. All the haters are looking for their chance. Got to have your coffee before you deal with the man. I totally get that. He was up late, Boots. He's getting ready for his upcoming shows. You guys are great. That's why I love you guys. It's Sunday. That's how it's supposed to be. Sleep in, catch up on everything. You got up at 11. That's about the time I did too. Yeah, it seems like it's not. Seems like because they did have like a super strict one, but it was essentially going to throw all the gamers off the platform. I mean, that's how that would have worked out. So I know they updated it. but the updates are a little ambiguous. So I'm just making sure. And it means that if someone tries to fuck with my channel, I'll already have YouTube on the record, which means whatever rando I get, if there's an issue, we'll have to abide by what someone said to me. That's why I tend to do that. God, what's Hooker's problem with Amber? What's Hooker's problem in general? Cold coffee's good if you put simple syrup in it. I learned a trick. It saves money. All right, guys. Well, that's about all that I had. Honey, I'm logged out of the new channel, so I have to do that. I will go ahead and do a community post, you guys. That'll let everybody know what the new name's going to be. If you're looking for it today, because as of tomorrow, the content will start going over there. Just an FYI, I do have to work it back up to 4,000 watch hours. That is part of the deal when a channel changes ownership. So I will be making sure to get as much of the content that exists already over there and get it tagged appropriately and things like that. So any watch time that goes over there, I appreciate tons. Today, you can find it as Kim and Crafton, as in my name first. And like I said, I think I'll rename it and then I'll do a poll because I'm stuck between the two ideas for a name. So it's still, yes, as of today, it's still Kim and Crafton. But May 1st, tomorrow it'll be different. Really? Leave the porch. Look at these little drowned squirrels, honey. They're so covered in rain. Bad for them. They're really persistent, though. All right, you guys. It'll just be 1 second here. Auntie is starting in 10 minutes. I'm going to redirect to the screen to her. Do you have any questions about Scott Peterson, honey?
How's he doing?
How's he doing? They really didn't say that. There's a picture of him smiling that got top
that's good.
That got top billing in all of in the articles, you know. We talked about that.
Right.
That's it. That's your questions about the Scott Peterson case, huh? You're so fun. There's a new allegation of prosecutorial misconduct. That's like the only new thing I can find, really. Other than they didn't even say it in the article, but I know that they have witnesses that are going on the record that saw her alive. So, but I think those are the only two things. They are putting Rochelle Neese back in this one. Okay, see if I remember how to do this. Tested my skills, guys. Let's see. Moment of truth now. It's been like 4 months doing this channel. Pretty soon I have to do another channel by myself. Figure it out. So content and go to this stream, right? This stream. And do edit. They already limited me. I wonder if it's did you say it's just default? They just default you to limited and you have to just have them review it every time?
On that one, yeah. On that channel.
Or is it because I say
it's
because I say fuck too much? Yeah, probably too. Yeah. Okay, here it is. Redirect ad. Turned on. Yes, she does. Count on Auntie. All right. So if you hang around for the end of the outro, it'll take you right over to Auntie that is starting shortly. What are you looking for, baby? And definitely come on over there for discussion because Clip-a-Dip is down. It's a shame.
Clip-a-Dip back under fly, but yeah.
Yeah. Good news.
Well,
Yes. Yes. I am happy about that. I am happy about that. I'm sure Sally Ann's happy about that. I know CJ must be ecstatic about that. Yep. Yep. Indeed. Well, we talked about this yesterday, you guys. They re-aired a portion of the actual attempt video. So that is what it is. They can blame whoever they want to blame. You can't show that stuff. That's not allowed. Right? I always thought they were saying clip a dick too. No, it's dip. Like chips and dip. I thought that though, Gladys. So it's not that you just have a dirty mind. I always heard it that way too. So we love you too, Milan. All right. Okay, guys. So hang out till the end, and then you don't even have to type anything. It'll just take you right to where we're all going. I will see you there. So now keep in mind from heretofore, if you want to talk about cases and legal documents and all of that kind of stuff, it will be over on the other. New schedule here is just going to be the morning show, our Tuesday members only, and then hitting the live button whenever shit is so bad that I need to do that. So drama stays here. And if you ever want to get away from the drama, you can go over there. And I think that'll work out well. So love you guys. See you over at Auntie's, and I will talk to you there.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble. Now wake up! It's time to look at the enemy. Look in the mirror if he is no friend to me. It's not working out, maybe it's the chemistry. It's time to break up so I can make a better me. Better believe in your mind, cause it's everything. You can mold, shape, find almost anything. All it takes is some time and some clarity to find your identity. It's mind over everything. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. 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 Don't stop, step it up, don't turning back. I won't stop, I'ma fight until there's nothing left. It's so what? You're gonna be hurting bad, cause I've been to hell and back. You don't wanna make me mad, I stay strong. You will never see me crack. And if you get in my way, you're gonna feel the wrath. Gotta say it to my face while he's looking back. Mirror breaks after math, when I hate, I attack. And when I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel like this, I'm immortal. When I feel